So this is our last day in Cairns and Trinity Beach, and today we have decided to actually come to Cairns Botanical Gardens to have a little bit of comprehension of Canberra's Botanical Garden and here in Cairns. So one of the most differences is that everything is so green. Even though in Canberra there is like a rainforest gully region, but this is actually a bit different. Like you see them in their real life, in their natural habitat. And also this botanical garden, so this is mostly the garden area, but there are multiple ends with an art center, with a visitor information center, and also like saltwater and freshwater lakes. This is currently the conservatory. Yeah, so a bit similar to Canberra's, except in Canberra they are actually trying to imitate every part of Australia. Here mostly this rainforest and the local Queensland trees. So one of the most So this botanical garden actually has a lot of paths inside of the garden area, and each of them are related to some rainforest, to some rainforest, to some rainforest plants. One of the most differences between Canberra and this botanical garden is that, first of all, here it's a bit more humid than in Canberra, and even though in Canberra's rainforest gully area they try to imitate humidity, it is not that humid than here. Also, it is near to a big road, which sometimes you can hear, sometimes you cannot. And also it is near the airport, which makes the whole experience a bit tough. Like it is not as peace as in Canberra. Not just because Canberra is much smaller than Cairns, it is because the location of the botanical gardens. In some places this can be also peaceful if there is no plane taking off or landing, or if you are inside of it, so like, or if you are next to the road, then if you have luck, then a car doesn't come, then yeah, it is quite peaceful. There are also some steps, but it just goes over a river. It became literally just a bridge. This is a rain tree, home to Central and South America, and this is really huge. and literally next to the main path. Of these small rivers everywhere, you can literally walk next to them, and then look at the most colorful trees, from red to green to yellow. And autumn is not really affected here. Local winter and autumn here in North Queensland is a bit different than Canberra's, Sydney's winter and autumn. So here it doesn't really get cold, so during winter it can get 20 Celsius max during day, and then 10 during night. So you don't need to really heat, but for cool, so in the houses air conditioning is needed for cooling, but not for heating. And here they have a wet season and dry season. So dry season is from May until October, and then wet season is from October until May. And then during dry time or dry season, the waterfalls are not as beautiful as now, and also some of the so dry season literally meaning less rain is coming than during the wet season. That is the differences between dry season and the wet season. In southern parts, so Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne, and other parts of Australia which are not in the rainforest, they have a normal autumn and winter, meaning they get colder during autumn and winter. And in some places where there is like bigger mountains or hills, they can get even snow. Here, snow, you wouldn't see any snow. So we have left the botanical gardens. Now we are in the rainforest broad walk, and it is inside Cairns, so you don't need to even go really far away to actually see. So if you are in Cairns, you can actually do this botanical garden, like it is not too big, and then come here to enjoy. And then this actually goes to freshwater and then saltwater lakes. You can literally walk in the rainforest. With some really big trees. We have seen similar things in Kuranda yesterday, that every bin, every bench is actually decorated like this, that a plant is actually on this bench, and I think they are really cool to actually decorate them, like, so that people are more admiring them. Yeah, if you're remembering to my Royal Australian Botanical Gardens video, I told you that inside that there is like this in the Valley Walk with a lot of mist machines to make this rainforest, to make that rainforest galleria more realistic. So here they aren't using mist machines, because the mist is created by rain, and also from from a lot of trees, and also in Canberra there were like it was muddy everywhere. It was rain all over the place. Here it is actually similar, so you can actually compare the two. Yeah, look at all these trees that got damaged during most probably a thunderstorm or cyclone. Yeah, because this part of Austria is actually targeted by cyclones. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago there was a really big tropical Alfred cyclone that actually that was actually targeted Brisbane for 2 or 3 days. So there was no electricity in some places. A lot of floods created, but in Cairns and also this northern part of Australia, so Darwin, Northern Territory, Western Australia's northern parts are all targeted by tropical cyclones, where floods and really huge wind, so it is almost like a tornado. Yeah, so tropical cyclones are a thing here in Australia. In the US it is called tornadoes. So it is really depending on, so the name is depending on the place where you live. This is the freshwater lakes. And after visiting this, we will be going back next to the saltwater lakes to the car, and then visiting Cairns only beach, which is interesting because most of the cities here, like Trinity Beach, Palm Cove, and other cities, or even Port Douglas, they have like a nested area where you can actually swim. Cairns is actually the only city here which doesn't have a nested area. They have a city beach. So after visiting the botanical gardens, now we are in the Esplanade. A lot of cafes, and then nearby the ocean. We are going now to Cairns only beach, that is inside the city, so not like any other beaches that have nested area somewhere in the ocean. Here they have actually created like a city lagoon. Like there are pools that have ocean water from them. Then here are a lot of playgrounds as well. And it is less humid, a bit like in the rainforest area, like there are more humidity because of the trees. Like here it is a bit of a breeze because of the ocean, so it cools down the humidity a bit. Also these playgrounds are really cool, like they have really cool decorations. Everything here has some kind of fountain. and also toilets. That is always the case in Australia, that they have free public toilets as well. Yeah. In Europe, free public toilets are actually not really clean. Here they are actually clean. So this is the preparations for the Anzac Day. That will be the 25th, so tomorrow. So today is the 24th of it is a Thursday. And then tomorrow, 25th, Friday, the day when we are traveling back to Canberra. And this is the preparation for Anzac Day. In Italy, it is known as the end of the Second World War. Some countries actually celebrate it, some not, depending on which country you are in. But I know that in Italy they celebrate it, here in Australia and New Zealand as well. Here it is called Anzac Day because they are commemorating for all of the people who have actually left the livings during the Second and the First World War. And they are decorating everything with red flour, and there is also a biscuit that locals eat during that day. And each city have actually some celebrations for this day. Here it is some kind of like either sound or with LED displays. In Canberra, I know that there will be like a promenade so near the War Memorial. Yeah, so each city has actually some kind of smaller or bigger celebrations of actually celebrating Anzac Day. Yeah, so this is the Marine, as well as the Cairns Beach, or Esplanade Lagoon, as some say, which is a bit interesting in this area to actually see inside of the city and not following the other cities rules. So each city slash so a little bit of history about Australia. A lot of people actually don't know much about Australia. So before Europeans came, Aborigines lived here, and each had a little bit of territory inside of Australia, and each had their own name. And yeah, they are really difficult to pronounce, but they are still acknowledging. So any buildings that have been built on a territory, like let's say my school, there is actually an acknowledgement of building that on that Aboriginal land. So this is how it looks like. This Cairns City Beach. Yeah. This pipefish is actually one of the most iconic sculptures in Cairns. So if you search for Cairns, you will see these 5 immediately. So. So the water level it got higher. So if you are remembering this afternoon, there were like trees that you could see here. Now it is full of water. And then some islands and some ships that have small lights. And also the airport with landing planes or taking off planes, but then nothing else.